Welcome to the Innovation World Young Collaborators podcast series. I'm your interviewer, Alir Makaisa from Jeddah, Saudi Arabia. I'm 16 and a creative homeschooler. Our featured innovator for today is Basiti Singh. She was a guest on this podcast a couple of years ago with Julie Shively and Jake Mendelson. And at that time, at the tender young age of 9, she was already able to achieve her goal of planting 100,000 trees. Prasidi is the founder of Prasidi Forest Foundation, recognized with the Prime Minister National Child Award 2021, which is the highest civilian honor, as the youngest social entrepreneur, as well as the youngest fruit forest creator of India, as per the India Book of Records 2020. She is also the youngest keynote speaker of Harvard Modeled United Nations India 2021. Moreover, she is the brand ambassador for the nationwide Girls Literacy Campaign, Beti Bachao Beti Padhao, by the Tamil Nadu government, and she is globally recognized as the Earth Day Network Rising Star, Global Sustainability Award 2021 by GCPIT, and the Top 100 Global Child Prodigy 2022. Last but not the least, she was awarded as Biju's Young Genius, an initiative network of Network 18. Even then and until now, she has inspired so many people, young and old, and we're super excited to hear about what she's been doing and everything that she has to share with us today. But first up, Prasiti, can you tell us more about yourself?
So, first of all, it's a pleasure to be on this incredible platform, and I'm very happy to connect with all the young people. So, I'm Prasiddhi. I am 11 years old from India, the southern part of India, Tamil Nadu. I have planted 140,000 trees in 99 different locations. I have mobilized 80,000 people across 20 countries. I am Prime Minister National Child Awardee. I was the youngest international speaker in the United Nations Climate Change Conference and the youngest national speaker in G20 India. And it's a pleasure to be over here and connect with all the young people, especially Elira, who is definitely somebody I'm looking forward to have this brilliant conversation with.
Thank you. Um, Prasiddhi, now can you share with us your earliest memories of connecting with nature and how it influenced your journey as an environmental activist?
So, being an environmentalist and a social entrepreneur, I have always had an unconditional bond with nature from a very young age. I'm still young, but even before I started to walk and talk, I really admired the rustling of leaves, the buzzing of bees, and the waves of seas. But then, at the age of 4, in 2016, when Vada cyclone hit the shore of Tamil Nadu, I realized that I've got to do something about it. And from there, my journey towards environmental conservation started. But somehow, this bond with nature that is still there with me has been a very powerful and motivational tool because I've always treated trees like my friends and I've had so many learnings. Trees taught me never to give up because whenever you prune the tree, it again regrows. Or else, bees taught me how to collaborate because when the bee pollinates the flower and the flower gives nectar to the bee, they collaborate. Or the seas taught me how to celebrate because either it's low tide or high tide, they're always celebrating. So there's so much I've learned from nature. And I think there is so much each and every child can cherish if we look at nature more closely.
Hmm. I agree. I agree. What specific event or moment inspired you to start the Prasiddhi Forest Foundation at a young age?
So, as I mentioned, when in 2016, at the age of 4, Vada cyclone hit the shore of Tamil Nadu, I was just 4, and trees getting uprooted, roads flooded, birds, squirrel, monkeys running, flying, and jumping for shelter. I was so disheartened to see all the impacts, thunder flickering. But I realized that I'm not just going to cry about it. I am actually going to do something. And even though I was just 4, I believed in the change that I can create. So I started off by participating in various different tree plantation drives. And I did that from the age of 4 to the age of 6. That is for 2 good years. I understood about indigenous tree plantation, not doing monoculture, what are different methods, techniques, learning from experts, foundations, as well as from the local, rural farmers and gardeners. And obviously, I did it myself, read books, and had my own learnings. Then at the age of 6, I decided that I also want to do it. I'm also going to do something myself, do my own tree plantation. And from there, I build up a target that I will also plant 100,000 trees. I took that target and I realized that if I want to do tree plantations in different places, I need to have something or an organization in which people can believe. And that is how Prasiddhi Forest Foundation took birth. And from there, from 2016, at the age of 6, PFF got created. And now we do various different projects and have planted 140,000 trees.
That is really amazing, Prasidhi. Like, you knowing, even when you were younger, that a forest doesn't have to be just the same trees all over, that it also needs to be biodiverse and have its own other plants that help each other, like, different plants that help out with the weeds or with the bugs. And even at 6, you were able to look at the big picture and even collaborated with others, and that you even started a foundation. So, speaking of the foundation, can you tell us more about the mission and vision of the Prasiddhi Forest Foundation?
So, being the founder of Prasiddhi Forest Foundation, which is a registered nonprofit organization, as well as the Green Pillar, which is a social enterprise focused on climate education and environmental literacy, I have two central targets. My first one is towards action. That is to keep planting trees and do sustainable projects to make a better future until it gets translated and becomes a part of our culture. And the second one is to bring people together and keep spreading environmental awareness until it gets translated in our literature. And with these two goals in mind, I founded Prasiddhi Forest Foundation initially, in which we focus on actionable projects, nature based solution projects like indigenous tree plantation, lake restoration, agroforestry, mangrove plantation, community based projects. And in the Green Pillar, we focus on various different climate education programs for corporates, for students, all on our online learning management platform. And we are very happy because we believe that when young people come together, the difference we can make is tremendous. And our central goal is to heal our earth. So, this is the vision and mission that Prasiddhi Forest Foundation and the Green Pillar have.
You're doing a lot of big things, Prasiddhi. um, and it's amazing how you can think up of that, if not only taking action, but also spreading awareness so that you're not only doing your own effort, but also gathering others in your country to make a group effort to make the world a better place.
Just telling quite precisely said, because action, I can make a difference, but then through awareness, when more people join me, the impact can be amplified.
I agree. And speaking of which, how do you mobilize and inspire volunteers, especially other young people, to join your environmental campaigns?
So, when it comes to inspiring other people, as we were just talking right now about how we can amplify and make our impact bigger, definitely collaboration and mobilizing other people can be a vital tool when it comes to amplifying the impact. And when it comes to how I do it, basically, initially, what happened was that actually, how did the idea of awareness come? Let me introduce you to that. When I was doing various different tree plantation drives, people came and asked me that, Prasiddhi, how can we also start our journey? Because I saw that people really want to do something, they're connected with nature, but somehow they're ignorant. And so I decided that through various, by connecting with people, giving awareness sessions and workshops, it can definitely go to a bigger level and people can learn through it. But then I realized that it needs a more steady solution in which anytime, anywhere, from from any background can actually come and learn about climate education and the environment. And so the Green Pillar got founded. So initially, I went to various different schools. I still do colleges, universities, corporates. I went over there, took sessions on topics like 5 ways to be an impact creator, biodiversity, circular economy, sustainable businesses, or nature-based solution, or the climate change, various different topics. And then later on, I also founded the Green Pillar, in which we have courses like the Climate Literacy Master Course, which is a new one that we launched for higher classes, in which it is online on our entire platform, and we have various different videos that are illustrated and content and infographics and PDFs that feature different content and quizzes and trivia. So through this, I'm able to connect with various different students. Until now, I'm very happy to share that I've mobilized 80,000 people across 20 countries. Moreover, I also believe in action. So, what I do is often I invite students of different schools and children who are willing to get connected with nature in various different tree plantation drives, nature based treasure hunts, activities in person. And apart from that, we also have exclusive workshops on topics like green gardening and nature based yoga, nature storytelling, young explorer. So, through all the different ways possible, connecting nature with art and technology and storytelling and yoga, all the various different ways, because it is actually connected. We, myself, and my organizations are trying to reach out to as many students as possible so that we can create a more well aware, climate aware future generation.
Actually, you make me want to get into that because back in my home country, the Philippines, we also have a deforestation problem, and maybe I we could collaborate with my school, also which is PPIS, Prince of Peace Integrated School, um, and maybe start a program.
Absolutely. We are actually outreaching a lot of different schools so that we
Mhm.
can take forward. And I invite all the amazing young people listening over here, as well as your school and different people to join us so that we can promote our courses and programs further. Because I think it's very much needed for the young generation to be aware about what comes next and to be ready to come up with climate solutions.
I agree. I agree. Speaking of planting trees, I actually looked into your website and saw there was this tree planting program where you donate some money and then you have your own like mini forest. How does that work?
So we have a very interesting thing. I'm glad you picked that point up. We have digital tree plantation on my website, Prasiddhi Forest. So it's www.prasiddhiforest.org. If you go on our website, we have digital tree plantation in which we actually plant trees on behalf of you on ground, and you receive a tree certificate on your WhatsApp and email ID, as well as you get to know the GPS location and you can see the project photographs of your tree being planted. So this way, you are actually connecting with the environment and are directly, very much directly supporting the planet, while also becoming a more while also becoming a more sustainable and eco-conscious person. So this is something anybody can do. They can go on our website and they can do a digital tree plantation for oxygen, for restoration, for biodiversity, because it depends on the trees we plant for various different causes. So you can go and you can pick your own project, and as many trees as you like will be planted on ground, and you will get to know about how it's growing and its location. In fact, you can plant it for yourself as well as on your birthday, on some festival, for some event. You can also gift it to other people and you can plant it on behalf of them as well. And they'll also receive a tree certificate.
That is so cool, Prasiddhi, because like in the place I'm in right now, which is, Jeddah and a desert, I can't really plant a tree as much as I'd want to. So contributing in this way is is a great help as well for other people who can't do their own projects like that. So with all of the things you're doing, you have received numerous awards and recognitions for your work. Which uh, which of these achievements are you most proud of and why?
Interesting question. And it's also going to be very hard for me to answer it, because from the Prime Minister National Child Award, so only the recognition, as in only among the numerous awards or even the events.
Um, it could be either.
All right. So, amongst all the various awards and events that have been, it's going to be very hard for me to pick because from the appreciation I get from the students in the rural schools where I do tree plantation to the Prime Minister National Child Award or the Diana Award in United Kingdom or United Nations Climate Change Conference, each of them have been so special to me and so memorable to me, motivational to me, moreover, because they've all played a vital part in my journey, be it through recognizing my efforts or by taking it to a bigger level, connecting with more people. But still, the Prime Minister National Child Award was very, very special for me because, first of all, it's the highest civilian honor under 18 in India and is given by the Prime Minister of India. So when I received it, I was the only one in the category of social service and the youngest in that batch. And I was so pleased. When I first got to know that I'm receiving this award, it was early in the morning. And my parents had come to me and they told me that, Prasiddhi, you've received this award. And I was like, I pinched myself. Is this actually real? I was so happy. And then I quickly got ready. I went downstairs and I planted a sapling and I celebrated this joy with that tree, with that plant that I planted. Because it is because of the blessings and support of these plants that I was getting recognized, and that motivated me to continue doing this furthermore. And when I received the award in my interaction with our Honorable Prime Minister, he shared three sankalpas with me. Sankalpas are like promises or resolutions, you can say. So one of which was regularity, being regular in what I'm doing. If I've decided to do tree plantation and support the planet, I should be regular in doing that. The second one was to stay to the promise I've made to the nation. If I've decided to heal our earth, to plant 100,000 trees, I have to stay to my promise. And the third one was to be humble. So, in fact, even I say that if you'll be humble, you'll never stumble. So, this is something, these were some very incredibly precious moments for me that boosted my confidence. And from there, I went on. I had just planted 13,000 trees when I received this award, and it definitely provided me with a huge support in terms of boosting my confidence. Then after that, there was the United Nations Climate Change Conference. So over there, connecting with various different policymakers and leaders, sharing them about my project, learning from them, understanding about their work, as well as representing the rural youth, children and youth voices. It was a great opportunity for me to show what we as young people think of and how we are building a difference. So, both of them, in fact, each and every one of them, have been very close to my heart and memorable. In fact, even this podcast is going to be so special to me, this conversation of ours. So, I cherish each and every one of them, truly.
That is amazing, Prasidhi, how even the Prime Minister of India recognized your work and even shared some of his wisdom with you. Like the last one, which is staying humble, because with all that you're doing, it is easy to get, lost into all the fame and even start to get proud. But I'm glad that you're still used it more as a motivation to do more. So, with everything that you're doing, what are some of the biggest challenges you've faced in this journey, and how did you overcome them?
Fascinating question. So, challenges are actually very special to me because I don't treat challenges as challenges. To me, they are opportunities of learnings. And somehow each challenge has given me with something new, an innovative idea, or a way to tackle problems that I face literally every day. But if I have to really specify into challenges, which is going to be hard for me, still, actually, let me start. If you remember, we were talking about when at the age of 6, I decided to plant 100,000 trees. So when I said this in public, everybody knew me because I came every day for the tree plantation. There was this person who came and told me, Prasiddhi, do you even know how many zeros are there in 1 lakh? In 100,000. So at that point of time, I had two choices. One would be to feel that really, do I have the potential to do something? Can I make a difference? Am I not too small? Or I could actually use it as a compliment and feel that people are thinking that I have the potential and I should get more boosted up and move forward with my project. And that is exactly what I did. So, in reply, I obviously told how many zeros are there in 100,000 trees, as well as I also told that we should believe in the power of a small candle that can light up the entire room. And I think this applies to each and every young individual, that we should really not get demotivated just because people think that we are young to make a difference. Rather, we should feel that we have more energy and that we can have a fresh perspective towards building an impact and a difference. And that is exactly what I did. Then, be it in terms of convincing people, because just imagine. Okay, I want you to close your eyes and imagine that a 6-year-old girl going to all these various different villagers, farmers, government officials, schools, headmasters, corporates, and telling them, I want to do a tree plantation in your land. Just imagine, what will they think? Now you can open your eyes, of course. But at that point of time, everybody appreciated me and they told that excellent initiative, but they were not sure whether we should take it forward, whether we can believe a 6-year-old child, because doing a tree plantation, that to a native tree plantation focused on fruits for biodiversity, it was very hard for them to believe. But then I believed in myself. I knew what I am doing. I was well aware about everything I'm doing. I had it all planned. And finally, one school principal actually agreed. And trust me, that was like the best day of my life when I realized that my impact project, Prasiddhi Forest Foundation's first plantation of just 500 trees, is going to kickstart. But then I faced the problem of funds. So at that point of time, I decided to sell paper pencils and bookmarks and grow kits because I had a love for art. I started creating paintings. I have my initiative called Art for Nature, in which through paintings I raise funds and awareness. But despite doing all this, still I could not raise enough funds. And at that point of time, I felt so disheartened. But I realized that sometimes there is not a clear path for things. You have to make it up yourself. And so I decided to create my own nursery. I went out and reached out to a couple of the local friends of my local friends. They were first wondering tree plantation, going in nature, soil. They were very hesitant and they didn't join me. So I decided to do it myself. I went door to door to collect fruit seeds. I said I'll come next weekend, save this, eat the fruit, save the seeds, dry them, and give it to me. And then I created my own community nursery. Gradually, more students saw that actually something is happening and they joined me. And slowly it went on. Then one plantation, two plantation, now 99 Prasiddhi forests. And apart from that, whether it was when the tree plantation happened in terms of the maintenance, or else, cattle coming and eating it, or if there is a drought, not enough water, or it's flooded in my nursery, so every day, so many problems on my platform, connecting with people, but they've always given me a learning I could never have got from a book or just by thinking about it. They made me come up with new ideas I did not even think I would come up with. So I think challenges became sort of my best friend when it came to learning.
I'm glad you didn't let them underestimate you because even when you're young, you even have a bright and fresh mind that could think of all these new ideas, and that not only did you take a lot of action in your goal, you even brought others and inspired others around you to join you on your amazing journey. And with that, you're able to plant 99 plantations. And That is truly remarkable, Prasiddhi. So, where will your 100th location be?
So the 100th plantation, indeed, it is going to be very special to my heart. And in terms of that, so I did not mention to you that being the child ambassador of the Green Tamil Nadu mission in 200 plus rural schools of Tamil Nadu, I'm giving free fruit saplings to each and every child as well as implementing a climate action curriculum in 200 rural schools of Tamil Nadu. And so I am going to do it in one of the schools, a tree plantation, and connect with the students because I want to symbolize how young people have the power to change the world. In fact, this brooch that I'm wearing, which I received in Diana Award from United Kingdom, in this is exactly what it says: young people have the power to change the world. And the 100th plantation is going to signify that. And that is exactly what I plan to do. So mostly it'll be in the village of Acharpakam in Tamil Nadu with a few of the rural government school students. And it'll be a fruit forest that we'll be planting.
Can I ask what kind of fruits?
So we plant guava, mango, lemon. In fact, we also plant jackfruit and native trees depending on the season. We'll also plant a few neem and Lakshmi Taru tree. That is a native tree over here. If you plant it, it actually protects from the UV rays, the ultraviolet rays. So it's incredibly important. People tree. There are lots of different. Why we also plant shade trees, make it as a mixed forest, because planting too many fruit trees together may not result in a very good forest. That's why we plant a few beneficial shade trees as well, so that it develops properly. And while birds and squirrels will have fruits to eat, they'll also have trees to make their habitats in.
Can you tell us about your experience with the COP28 United Nations Climate Conference last year?
So the United Nations Climate Change Conference, COP28, UNFCCC, hosts it. That is the United Nations Framework for Climate Change Convention. It is essentially the apex body when it comes to global climate-based decisions, and it is created by United Nations. And it hosts an annual meeting, that is COP28, COP, Conference of Parties, every year. So last year was the 28th one in UAE, and this year will be the 29th one in Azerbaijan. Over here, more than 200 countries, prime ministers, and presidents come together, policymakers, leaders, youth representatives, as well as various different people related to the climate space. And over there, I had the opportunity to be one of the youngest international speakers and represent the voices of the rural young people who are facing the impacts of climate change, as well as together we are coming up with solutions to fight this climate crisis. And more importantly, I was one of the youngest keynote, like youth speakers in UN DESA's Sustainable Development Goal Pavilion launch, that is United Nations Department of Economic and Social Affairs, alongside the UN General Assembly's president, Mr. Dennis Francis, and UN DESA's head. And over there, I spoke about how SDGs, we have to achieve it by 2030, which is leaving us with nearly only 6 years to achieve it. But we should not look at it as that we do not have enough time, but rather as an opportunity to achieve it and try to leverage as many solutions as possible to achieve these remarkable 17 goals. Then I was also one of the youngest speaker in a panel discussion on the past, present, and future of capacity building in UNFCCC's hub. So over there, I spoke about how the passion and energy of the present, the experience and knowledge of the past can make a much brighter future. And through this, really, because it has so much immense potential if all the three generations come together to make a difference. And that is what I spoke about, how on a 360-degree level, I'm also trying to build an impact with schools, planting it over there, with villagers and farmers of an entire community, while also being connected to the government officials so that everything moves in sync and an entire village or an entire community can be transformed into a more sustainable place. So, placing these views as well as learning in the United Nations Climate Change Conference was an exceptional 2 weeks period. And I was very glad to be over there and hope to be in COP29 as well.
That is so cool, Prasidhi, how you think of not only inspiring the younger generation, but also our government, and even speaking with the people who are sharing the same goals and initiatives as you do. And also, as I've said before, I'm a homeschooler and I'm really curious, how do you manage to balance your school and studies with all the work you do?
Interesting question. So, definitely academics and my work. I wouldn't say work actually, my passion. It's hard to manage it. I will not deny the reality. It is definitely very hard the time because of my events and plantations. In fact, my attendance is less than a quarter. But still, what I try to do with the support of my school and my teachers, I get the notes, I manage it. And I believe that when it comes to academics, if I believe and work hard towards it, I can manage. So, by carrying books wherever I go, by managing my time properly and efficiently, I am able to manage my studies. And thankfully, I'm scoring A plus in all of my subjects till now in all my grades, as well as with the help of my teachers and all the amazing people who have supported me in my academics in my school. I've been able to score pretty well. And I realized that actually we go to school so that we can have a better real life and we can understand how real life actually works. So over here, it's going the other way around. My practical experience is helping me in my studies. Because, for instance, when I work with the government, I automatically know the entire hierarchy from the panchayat president to the block development officer to the district collector, the mayor, the ministers, everybody. I know the entire hierarchy because I work with them. So there's nothing I have to memorize for my examinations, whether it's environment or science. I am doing that in real. So that really does help me when it comes to my academics.
What are your future goals for Tripa City Forest Foundation and your personal environmental activism?
For Prasiddhi Forest Foundation, as I mentioned to you earlier, we are working on different nature based solution projects and we are trying to increase it, take it on a bigger level by associating with the government as well as by strengthening our rural spread, going in various different places rurally and increasing the impacts with various different stakeholders. So now it's 1,40,000 trees in 99 different locations and various different lake restoration projects, agroforestry, mangrove plantation. We're supporting communities in terms of women empowerment and various different projects. So our goal would be to create a better future, which is our tagline at Prasiddhi Forest Foundation. And when it comes to my personal self, I think I really don't want to restrict myself because at this point of time, where every second new innovations are coming, something new is happening, and the world is changing at such a rapid pace, I don't want to restrict myself. Rather, I want to continue to be an explorer. Because I'll tell you, as much as I am delving into my work and my passion, connecting with people, I'm also an incredibly fun person. So I do all sorts of various different activities, be it skating or swimming or painting, doing yoga, doing meditation, all sorts of different things, reading books, traveling. I love doing everything. And so I believe that exploring is something I'm definitely going to continue. But still, there are the four S that I want to go into deeper. And I have said this at various different places, the four S. So the first one is soil that is beneath us. I want to explore that world because it is so huge. There is so much going on and happening ground beneath our feet. Trees talk, trade, and reward one another. We have no clue about it. So I really want to discover more about the depths of the wood wide web and the soil, the microorganisms. The second one is spirituality, that is the insight. Because if we don't know ourselves, how will we change the world? The third one is sustainability, that is the outside of us, definitely my lifestyle, as well as promoting sustainability and climate education, eco consciousness, and environmental projects for everybody else as well. And the fourth one is above us, that is space. Because the thought that Earth is such a small dot in the entire universe, as Andromeda Galaxy and Milky Way and so many different galaxies, makes me feel that yet it is small, there is still so much going on in this little planet. So I really want to explore more about space. So, soil that is beneath us, spirituality that's inside of us, sustainability that's the outside of us, and space that is above us are things I want to explore.
And that sure is a lot to explore because even just with one of those S's, there's already so many things you could do. Like, with the soil, I also remember this thing where mushrooms connect to each other and even share nutrients with each other. And with all the
Is network, absolutely.
with all the bugs too, and all the smaller than bugs, the germs that go in there, the good bacteria, the bad bacteria, and there's also, the space. There's just like so much to explore, and you could
That,
never stop.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
truly. But thing is that in space, there's also one thing, right? We are dreaming of planting vegetables on Mars and are cutting trees on Earth. That is still something that needs to be worked on. And that is why I decided not just one, but all the four S's, because a balance is required in each and every one of them.
Yeah, like I was thinking reforesting Mars because right, Mars has some signs of having water before. So yeah, that's a very interesting and out of this world idea. So, what advice do you have for other young individuals who want to make a difference in the environmental conversation and social entrepreneurship?
Young people, I just want to say that believe in the power of a small 4 millimeter seed, which has the potential to become a 400 feet tall tree. And we all can be that small 4 millimeter seed, no matter how small we are right now. We hold the potential to make a huge impact and greenify our entire planet. So we really need to believe in that. And we should not just think out of the box, but act out of the box. And finally, I would say that dream high, higher than the sky, think deep, deeper than the ocean, and act like trees, bees, and seas.
That is so cool. Did you come up with that yourself?
It's my very own quote.
Yeah. I should write that down because that is very inspiring. So, how do you see your work contributing to the global fight against climate change and environmental degradation?
Definitely, today, as we face this Anthropocene, the geological age of planet Earth, in which human activity has been dominant, we face three central challenges: the challenge to mitigate and adapt to climate change, to protect biodiversity, and ensure human well being. And with floods, droughts, the food scarcity, water scarcity, climate, natural disasters. There is so much we are facing, and the statistics projected clearly that by 2040, one in four children will be living in areas with extreme water shortage. By 2050, there will be more plastic in the sea than fish. By 2100, all the rainforests will be gone. And this all sounds so disheartening. But with my organizations, Prasiddhi Forest Foundation and the Green Pillar, and with my own efforts, what I'm promoting is that we all need to have a sense of hope, a sense of reality, and a sense of responsibility. And with this, no matter how small our actions are, we can create a forest of positive change to create a more healthier, happier, equitable, and sustainable future for everybody. And in our organization, that is exactly what I'm trying to do with our actionable projects as well as with our awareness programs so that this can be amplified. And platforms like the Innovation World or this podcast are going to play a vital role in spreading this message forward. And I think that's what we at our organizations are trying to do: connect people, and make this planet a better place, not just by talking and sharing about it, but by actually doing something on the ground. And we believe that if we all do climate action together, we can create a forest of impact and make this entire planet a much better place to live.
You are making um, such progress. Like you said, from a small seed, like you made a huge forest, literally, and also and also, planted not only trees, but also hope and inspiration in many other people's hearts. And mhm, with that, what message would you like to share with people around the world about the importance of environmental conservation?
With everybody who's listening to me, I want you to believe in the power of serve, love, and give. It may sound so simple, but actually, it's a magical superpower. Because if we serve the society, if we love the people and the planet around us, and if we give as much as possible, we can not only create a much better future, but we can change the way we think, live, and act, making an everlasting impact, creating an entire transformation, which is very much needed and very much important. So, this is the message I have for everybody, and we all know what to do. Because if not now, then when? And if not you, then who? So we need to believe in our power, make a difference, and get started. And trees, which are so simple, planting trees, they are the most impactful and affordable solution. In my thought process, they are actually my magical friends. They are the converters of bad to good. You give them pollution and carbon dioxide, they convert it to oxygen. You give them kitchen waste and food waste, they make it into healthy soil. They do not only do that but also convert negativity into positivity and hold the power to fight this climate crisis. All we have to do is join hands together and make a difference. So once again, I'll say that we are the future and we need to be ready, and this is not me saying but reality. So don't just think out of the box, act out of the box.
So, is there anything else you want to say, Prasidhi?
Absolutely. And I think it was amazing talking to you and everybody listening over here. And I want to believe in the power each and every one of us have. And Alira, it was so nice having this conversation with you. You have indeed been a wonderful host over here today. And it was pleasure discussing about the environment and how we all can make a difference together with you.
Thank you so much, Prasidhi, for sharing your incredible journey with us. And your passion and dedication are truly inspiring. So, if you'd like to learn more about this program or others like this, you could find them at innovationworld.org. Thank you for joining us on the Innovation World Young Collaborators podcast series. This is Alir Makaisa signing off until next time.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much.